Hello, and welcome to Wizardry. Hello everyone, welcome back. Taking me a while to get this one out, a little longer than anticipated. Been busy outside of the channel, and I hit a major roadblock during the video, as you will see. It's a very special video to me. The figure that I'm working on in this video, my son he got a long time ago. Backstory will be in the video. He was a wonderful kid. He's now a wonderful man. I love you, Avery. I hope you like this. I hope you viewers like this. So let's get on with it. Let's make some magic happen. Avery and I picked up this guy some years ago before a movie. No idea what game he belongs to, but Avery wanted to try his hand at miniature painting at the time, so home he came. I stripped him down to his original state, and we're going to do a conversion on him as a gift to Avery. It's a reminder of going to premieres together for his birthday as a kid. We always stopped at Hobby Corner, a local hobby store, or as Avery called it, and still calls it, Nerd Palace. As a matter of fact, we did just that recently before going to see Deadpool Wolverine. Joe at Nightmare Landscapes had sent me a bunch of these 3D print skulls from Thingiverse, and that's my first plan of attack on Mr. Marauder. We're going for the face. I removed small slivers at a time and used mounting putty to hold the skull in place while I fit tested. When I found that sweet spot, it was time to glue. He's not any prettier, but a damn good job, I'd say. Joe at Nightmare Landscapes had also hooked me up with a vast array of gnarly doodads from Thingiverse for Gaslands conversions. These are from the creative madman Sable Badger, and we're going to amp up the Marauder's weaponry using this gear. This rim looked to me as if it could be repurposed for some type of thermonuclear power regulator or whatchamabob for our big BFG. And how about these exhaust pipes? They look to me like some beefy terror-spewing gun barrels any psycho skull-faced super soldier would drool over. And of course, you have to have some way to convert all this power. As an added bonus to me, this video is my first time using Monument Hobbies Pro Acrylic paints, and I totally love these paints. They are incredible. I began with the cloak to try out the wet blending capabilities of these paints, and it was a dream experience for sure. Buttery smooth, with great coverage, and although they do dry quickly, they don't dry immediately, providing ample time to work your paints before they become tacky and lifting the layer underneath. When you see me changing up my tones, it's because I was mostly undecided on my exact color scheme that I wanted, and not because it was unintentional tone from mixing the colors. Did I say I enjoyed wet blending these paints? Yes, it was that much fun. I'm no Vince Venturella or John Ninus by any stretch, but you do need to try these paints. They are a dream. And no, I'm obviously not sponsored by Monument Hobbies. I just really love these paints. I will own them all as soon as possible. Okay, enough nerdmance. Is that a thing? Sure, that's a thing. Or how about nerdromancy? Kind of like necromancy. My original idea for the cape was this olive drab tone, but after it dried, it just wasn't what I was looking for. But it did give me an awesome base coat, and as you can see, the coverage is great with this paint. Being undecided was kind of a plus for me, because I had an excuse just to play around with my shadows, mid-tone, and highlights on the outer cape, until I landed on a look that felt right with the mahogany interior. I decided to stay with green tones on the rest of his clothing to keep the kinda sorta camouflage vibe going and to give him some consistency and cohesion to his color scheme. After laying down my shadows, midtones, and highlights, I applied a couple of glazes to tie it all in. And if you're wondering, yes, creating glazes with these paints is a pleasure. Before I started on his skin and other articles of clothing, I decided to apply my metallics to his BFG and his Terminator-looking skull. Although, I must have shut the camera off when doing his head. The mixing that I'm doing is adding the thinner Nightmare Landscape Silver to my thicker Game Color paint. They are virtually the same silver tone, and when they mix, they apply much easier than alone. It kind of gives you the best of both worlds. I decided to use some gold and bronze on the weapon as well to break up the monotony of going all silver. I put a base coat on Mr. Marauder's pants, and while I decided which direction to go with that aspect of his attire, I worked on his skin tones. Using these Pro Acrylic paints when layering up the skin tones was a lot of fun. I then turned my focus to spicing up his beefy power cables. I began with bold titanium white as my base coat. I made random scratchy strokes in varying widths and layers to hopefully give some movement and flow to the base coat. I also did the lug nuts on the rim, which I guess now are indicator lights for his power conversion unit, and the other indicators that are on the weapon as well. This whole collection of paints were mixed and matched to sell the heat-stained barrels on the BFG because, well, he's a trigger-happy SOB, that's why. Time to add power to function to show how this weapon rock and rolls. We'll come back to him later. For now, we are prepping for the base and making the plinth. PVA glue, sand, paint, and air dry clay for some concrete that will be easily broken up to apply to the base, but also maintaining some structural integrity as well. While the concrete dries, we'll turn our attention to the plinth. I had this willow branch in the garage I was saving to carve into a mushroom stick. For those of you who don't know, a mushroom stick is basically a wizard's staff that outdoorsy people here in the Midwest United States take with them into the woods to pick fungus off of the ground and take it home to eat. Does that remind you of anyone? Anyway, I cut off a chunk, I sanded it up nice, and airbrushed it to make my custom plinth. I finished it off with a coat of satin varnish, and I was quite happy with the results. At the same time, I varnished the Marauder with a matte varnish, and tragedy struck. My rattle can varnish frosted my hard work, and I was devastated. Was it the humidity here in Iowa? Did the varnish go bad? Did I hold the can too far away during application? I don't know. No matter what, a repaint was in order and the setback had cost me dearly. While still licking my wounds from the varnish catastrophe, I wrapped my plinth and began work on the base that the twice-painted Marauder would pose Captain Morgan style amid a wasteland. I wanted a futuristic Gamma World feel to it, dark and desolate, and fallen into ruined civilization. A segment of artificial flower stem and a small wall anchor were to be repurposed into the elements of a mangled and now non-functioning electrical fence in the background. I'm not sure what this is or where I got it, but it looked close enough to be chain-linked fencing to me. I did manage to get the Marauder all bandaged up and repainted, although I somehow failed somewhere along the way on how I weathered his leather boots and painted his pants. Live and learn, I guess, and know if you've turned the camera off or on. That's very helpful. And here he is, in all of his reconstructed, rearmed, and upgraded, repainted glory, surveying the vast wastelands of some far distant future or unknown alien lands, ready to destroy the opposing forces or collect some bounty of a wanted fugitive. I had a blast doing this for one hell of a cool sun, as well as delving into my new Pro Acryl paints. I hope everyone likes this video. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. I love the comments, good or not so good. For some reason I can't access all of them, so if you haven't heard from me in a reply to your comment, that means I haven't seen it. Because I love your feedback, it's very important to me. Thank you for watching this video. Between now and the next time that we meet, make sure to make some magic happen. I'm Wes, and this is Wizardry.